Welcome back to Under Oath.
Welcome back to Under Oath. I'm joined by my partner, Jeff Kaufman. I totally just stole his line. He's got something going on with his throat, so I might be doing more talking than usual this time around, just temporarily.
Yeah, we're going to give you Craig as a gift for the future. It's going to be Under Oath with Craig Lynd. It sounds better that way.
It kind of does.
It does, but nobody will be able to pronounce
Maybe
your
we
last
should
name.
take a poll and see who they'd rather have it be with.
I would love you to take the show. I would actually be excited to help if you took my show from me.
You could be. Oh my goodness! What did I just
That's
do?
the reason why you can't take my show.
That's the reason, right?
Because now we lost it all.
See, there's nothing more unprofessional.
See how mine is vibrating? Yours is
Nothing
ringing.
more unprofessional than that. I lost the show. I had it for like 14 seconds.
Yeah.
You guys saw it. I had it,
He had it.
and I lost it.
He Baker Mayfield, that sumbitch.
I lost it. All right, so Meta, Facebook, Instagram, getting sued by states, much like the federal government sued McDonald's, well, what was it, about 15, 20 years ago when they said, hey, you're attracting too many kids. You're using unfair tactics
Happy Meals.
to draw kids
Happy Meals.
into your store. Yes.
Happy Meals.
With the free toys.
I like free toys.
Yeah. Well, they can't have Ronald McDonald or any of the characters handle the food anymore. Did you notice that?
Well, Ronald McDonald was a little. I don't want him handling anything.
You don't want some clown cooking
I
your
don't
burger?
want, some weird ginger-looking clown doing bad stuff. I don't like it.
Ooh, easy. There's a whole community out there. Ginger people, we apologize.
No, I do, but a ginger clown's a little weird. Even gingers don't like ginger clowns.
No?
No.
Is that right?
Yeah, I read it on a poll.
Yeah.
Poll was by a bunch of
What
non-gingers.
magazine did you happen to be perusing where they had a poll on the ginger
MILF or something? I don't
the
remember.
ginger community's stance on other ginger related professions?
I track things.
Okay.
I'm constantly tracking things. I have to. It's my
I do
job.
believe that. I do believe that.
Now,
So,
tell people what this lawsuit's
Facebook,
about.
Instagram,
so we can get to it.
WhatsApp, Messenger, all of those owned by Meta. They're all being sued by a combination of states. Leading states, Colorado and California, which is weird because those are two pretty liberal states. You would think that those states wouldn't really mind if kids had access to all of these apps, including Instagram or Facebook.
Broke and sensitive. That's what those two states are. Broke and sensitive. They get sensitive over everything. The sensitive states sue. The non-sensitive states don't sue.
Utah? Utah is generally not sensitive.
Utah is very sensitive over their moral issues.
Oh, okay. So Utah is doing it for a different reason.
Yes.
It's a morality issue.
Morality.
Well, why would California, why would the state not want, why would a parent not want their kids to be able to access Facebook, WhatsApp, Instagram, or Messenger?
It's not that they don't want to. It's they don't want to be responsible for doing it. Let me just make this clear. It is not the government's job to parent your kids. Now, the internet is a scary place. You know how you keep people off the internet? You don't give them stuff to get them on the internet. Oh, I let my kid babysit himself with his phone and his laptop.
So you do not buy the argument, I can't stop my kid from looking at this stuff because ultimately the parent is the one who provides the kid with the cell phone that has access to the internet.
They are giving them the gun. They're upset where they're getting the bullets. We don't like the bullets in this gun. We gave them the gun, but we don't like the bullets.
We like the starter cap
Yes.
gun bullets.
We just
don't
thought
like
he was
the
going
real,
to be using
we
it
don't
for
like
fun.
the really 45, hollow
Just talking
points.
to his friends, texting each other. I cannot stand when the government decides they are smarter than parents. We are going to parent your kids.
Can I take the opposite stance?
Go ahead.
Well, thank you. You were
have my
kind of in the middle of a point.
You have my permission. I'll gladly allow you to walk over the constitutional rights of every company to push your socialist agenda. But go ahead.
Ouch.
Because you're right about this. You never
Socialist?
take the socialist agenda, and you're
Socialist?
doing it this.
Well, I mean, one of us has to take the opposite
Even if
position.
you don't believe it.
It's
but go
not
ahead.
interesting if we both agree. But, all right, so listen, can't the government at least help out the parents a little bit by passing laws? Like, I don't know. You can't give your kids alcohol.
Which
you
government?
can't give your kids drugs.
Which government?
You can't take your kids. You can't take your 5-year-old to an NC-17 movie.
Which government?
Our government, the
Is that the
United
state
States
government or the federal
state
government?
government, the local government,
Okay,
whatever
let's
government.
go with federal government so we can avoid
Okay.
these footloose situations where I can't dance in my city.
All righty.
Okay? That's what's going on here. No dancing. Because let's say Sacramento, California decides, you know what? Dancing is bad. We're not going to allow people to dance anymore. Because you know what happens? Dancing leads to unprotected
Leads
sex.
to worshiping the devil.
Yes. You'll become a Republican in a second. No dancing. See, this is
wear
the problem I
jewelry,
have.
no
I don't have a
makeup.
problem with our federal government being the law of the land. The problem is we have 50 states, and not including Puerto Rico and D.C. Okay, we have a bunch of provinces too.
Mm-hmm.
So imagine every one of these people decide they're going to regulate a worldwide company, whether it be TikTok, whether it be Meta, whether it be Instagram. We are going to decide that we are going to shut down these worldwide companies because the governor knows better.
Well, so you're making the argument of just absolute capitalist has to win.
No.
There can be no regulation. It is competition, competition, competition. That's what will set the laws and regulations. It'll be competition. Somebody else will come along with an app that allows social interactions without the harmful algorithms that cause all these kids to become addicted. I think that's a better argument. I just made it for you. Is that what you were trying to make?
No.
Oh, okay.
What I'm trying to say is this.
You'd have been better off.
They're trying. No, I'm better off because I understand the concepts of interstate commerce. We agree that Meta affects interstate commerce. We buy and sell products all over the world through Facebook.
Mm-hmm,
We advertise multiple products around the world using Meta. So we can agree that California should probably stay away from something that affects interstate commerce.
Does a state have the right to regulate what type of material its children get? Because you can make the same argument you just made for cigarettes, for cigars, for alcohol, and yet the states still have a right to protect their kids, don't they? I mean, at what point does interstate commerce trump parents' abilities to control what their kids can and can't see?
Interstate commerce affects where I can sue and can't be sued. It's not the morality. It's not the local ordinances. It affects certain things. Now, if you decide to open a theater and go, okay, I'm going to put a porno theater in the middle of downtown wherever. Okay, they can regulate that. You know why? Because it's actually on their ground. And it's nowhere else. It's in their ground. Now, what's happening is this is the internet.
That is a dated theory.
Not really.
There's no such thing as porn theaters being in grounds anymore. You can't find a porn theater.
What about
Remember
AMC?
in the 70s and
What
the
about
80s?
AMC?
You can find porn theaters all over the place. You can't find them now because they pump them right into your house.
We can agree that an AMC is a movie theater, right?
Yeah.
Okay. NC-17. States can say, regulate that.
Correct.
They can do that. All right. Here's the
But
argument.
according to you, they shouldn't be able to because this affects interstate commerce.
Where are the meta servers?
Where?
Yeah, where are they?
I don't know.
Okay, they're not in California. I can tell you, they're
Okay.
they're in deserts or they're in foreign countries.
Okay.
These servers. And do you think that you get to Meta the same way every time? No, the internet is a locking bunch of computers that you never go in the same direction. Your email could go through Cuba before it gets to you. So the idea that you can regulate where you're going and what you're doing on the internet is only something somebody from California would go, yeah, we can control this. There's a term called VPN. Do you know what that is? I'm sure you do.
I do.
A VPN allows me to hide where I'm actually accessing the internet. So for example, if I'm in a country that doesn't allow Netflix, I can pretend my VPN is out of Miami. So we can
Well, let me defeat the argument. I
Sure.
can get on VPN as a 15-year-old kid and go to buy a gun or alcohol, and I still have to prove that I'm old enough to have those products.
because
right?
the gun is getting shipped into your country.
So how is it that interstate commerce doesn't stop the kids from getting those products in that case? I assume you're fine with kids not getting firearms and alcohol, right? What's the difference between a kid getting a firearm and alcohol or accessing Facebook's, hey, kid chat or whatever?
Are you talking about my ability to talk to somebody in a different area in comparison to a product being shipped?
Well, it's both, really, because when you're on Facebook, it's not just the products that you're exposed to. That, hey, buy this, hey, buy that. You're exposing yourself to other people as well.
But the product
And the reason that you get put in front of other people or get shown certain feeds is because Facebook has this algorithm that's just reading you at the deepest level and putting you, it's designed to make you come back and stay on Facebook or Instagram. Is that healthy to do that to kids?
Who's paying for the access?
No one's paying for it. It's free.
There. No, it's not free.
It's free to the user.
Who's paying for your phone bill right there?
Well, the company, I think.
Okay. So the company is paying for your access to the internet.
Yeah.
Okay. Who pays for the access to the internet at your house?
Well, I do.
You do, not your kid, right?
Correct.
So the only way the kid can get access to the internet is if he has some form of permission from you.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Okay, so we can fully agree that outside him going to a library, which means that that library would be responsible
But
for
you're
his
putting
access.
all of the responsibility on the parent.
Yes.
And I agree most of the responsibility should be the parent. But I need the government to help me out. Come on.
Oh, I need the government?
Yeah.
You need the government?
I can tell my son, you can't have porn books. You can't have a hustler. And he goes down to the gas station and they sell it to him anyway. Is that my fault? No. It's not necessarily my fault, or it's not all my fault.
If you own the 7-Eleven, it is.
Somebody else helped for my kid to get that hustler.
So he had help, but you had a part in it.
No, I didn't. I told him not to get it.
Where'd he get the money?
He can earn it on his own. He
Okay.
earns allowance.
So you gave him it.
So I give him money, so this is giving him permission to buy drugs, alcohol, firearms, and
If you
porn?
own the 7-Eleven,
no
it
way.
is.
No way. I'm not talking about if I own the 7-Eleven.
You do
and
own
you
the
know it.
7-Eleven in this case.
No, I don't.
You own his access to the internet. He's accessing the internet through your paid product.
He can access the internet without my permission.
On what device?
All he needs is a friend.
He needs a device.
Anybody to
so his
cooperate
friend.
with
So
him.
I can sue his friend for doing it.
Anybody to cooperate with him.
Okay.
That's why the government needs us to help the parents out a little bit.
So the
I'm not
government-
saying it has to be completely draconian.
So this kid's committing crimes through somebody else, and the company's responsible for it now.
Well, yes.
No.
If the company sells him alcohol, who's responsible? The kid or the company
You're
selling
talking about
alcohol?
a product that is clearly defined in how it gets to you. We agree the internet is the wild, wild west.
I agree. And that's why the government should get involved in regulating
So you know what I do
kids'
for Meta?
access to it.
Hey, let me, Zuckerberg, I have your answer right now. I'm going to do the exact opposite of the hillbillies in Alabama. I'm not going to scream USA. I'm going to go, no USA, no USA. And I'm going to have him open up in Antigua. And he's going to put his servers in Antigua. They're going to move Meta out of California. And you're going to open up in Antigua. And you don't have to give a damn about any other country trying to tell you what you're going to send or not send.
You do.
No, you don't.
You're not allowed to pump that stuff into
You
my
do
state.
it all the time.
Not allowed to
How are you
pump
gonna
that
stop
stuff
them?
in my state. I'll fine you.
Oh, you think right now California is stopping all these weird Russian porn sites?
They can. If
No,
they
the
want
only
to.
person they
Yeah,
go after
can.
are the
They-
Canadian
well,
porn
they don't
sites
want to, but
because
if-
they have access
if they
through
wanted to, they
Canadian
could.
laws.
If they wanted to, they could.
Remember all the poker sites that were out of Antigua?
I don't remember any of the poker
The way
sites.
this worked like this is you go into a country with no extradition. Now, the same way we're going to do what I think the future is going to be, where these murder, basically these Fight Club kind of concepts where people get killed. You're going to go to a place where the laws don't apply, where you can't sue. And as somebody who's got a degree in international law, I can tell you this right
You
now.
have a degree in international?
Yeah, I do. It's great. It taught me stupid little things like open up businesses in foreign countries, and especially with the internet, with VPNs and everything else. And you can even supply the VPNs. That's how smart these companies can be. And this is going to be the future. If I was Meta right now, I'd go, screw this. Why do I need to be in this country? So that California can sue me every time they get offended by something I do. I mean, this happens everywhere. We know it's forum shopping. They didn't file this case in Alabama or somewhere else. They filed
Well, that's
it in
kind of why I'm surprised
California.
that California is joining in on this, because California
Protect our kids.
and Meta are usually aligned with one another.
Do you know you can't buy alligator boots in California? Because
Really?
California has decided that alligators should be protected.
Okay, so you just defeated your entire
No.
argument up to this
No,
point.
I think it's BS. I think it's absolute BS. I'm arguing that they shouldn't be able to do that either.
But they're doing it.
Okay, and you know how we get around it? Meta? It's going to be Meta Antigua. And you know what? We're all going to have a good time in Antigua because I am so tired of small pockets of people telling me what I can do and can't do. Or my kids. Oh, you're not responsible for your children anymore. California also passed an interesting law. I call it the child molester law. And they know they have it. And for people who don't know it, this is the deal in California. Up to the age of, I believe it's 23 to 25, you can have a 10-year disparity and have consent. For example, a 9-year-old can have consent, have sex with a 19-year-old.
That's disgusting.
Well, welcome to California. This is how they decide that their morals and everything else are more important.
Which brings me back to the point I was trying to make before. If California has those kinds of laws where a 9-year-old can have sex with a 19-year-old, and I don't know if that's true, but
it is true.
Let's assume it's true for the sake of the argument. What the hell are they doing then? Trying to stop kids from accessing Facebook? That's child's play compared to the laws they have.
They don't care because it's power. Look at what we're doing. And you know what? We're going to sue this company. We're going to collect $1 billion from Facebook. It's all about the cash. And look at what we're doing. And I'm going to write this down right now. This is not Republicans or Democrats or anything else. This is a state that thinks they are better than the rest of the country. They're smarter. They're better. Everything's perfect with them. And they're not. In fact, they're a crap show of what's going on right now. They do have one of the 5th highest economy because they have all the stuff coming in. You know, they're one of the biggest states. They have the highest population. So, of course, they're going to have
everything that gets shipped to the United States from China or anywhere over
out of Asia, yes.
Ends up hitting a port somewhere in California, Oregon, or one of those states.
Now, the problem I have is this, and this is the way it's going to exist. We cannot allow local courts to make national decisions. And that's what's happening now, whether it be guns, whether it be abortion, whether it be what First Amendment rights. We're making these determinations based on these small form shops where we know, oh, I'm going to go into this one county.
Your America then doesn't have states' rights.
Maybe we shouldn't. Maybe we absolutely shouldn't. Because the fact is this, is that we agree now that most of our issues are interstate issues.
If you don't have state rights, then what's to stop there from just being a general majority election and not the system that we have now, which
we don't have a general majority.
I know.
We have senators.
But if states can't protect themselves.
From what?
From the predations of companies like Facebook.
How about the rest of our country not being able to protect themselves?
To lock themselves in a room and spend, I don't know, 4 or 5 hours on Instagram a day?
I agree with you. Except your point is exactly the opposite. Now we're letting one state decide what 49 other states can do.
No,
through this lawsuit.
No, that's not it at all.
Oh, it's going to happen.
That's not it at all. You just can't do it in this country. You know, they can do this in China.
What if they bankrupt Facebook?
They do it in China.
What if they bankrupt? Don't talk about China.
They do it in China.
Stop it.
They do it in China. They can stop
What if you bankrupt Facebook?
So what?
Am I affected by that? In Florida? Yes, I don't have Facebook anymore. Because this state wanted to pass their own rules. That's what happens. Money talks. We start changing laws based on money. We know that companies don't change until they write big checks. So what happens is Meta goes, guess what? We can't provide this anymore. For example, one of the things that I'd like to be able to do was you were allowed to take your pictures and they were allowed to identify. They were automatically said, oh, this is the guy in the picture. You want to tag him. You want to tag him. You want to tag him. And that was a choice we were able to make. But one state sued so that we don't have that anymore. So one state can decide what I can do or can't do.
That's not true. No, you are saying that the company's reaction to one state,
they can't afford it,
is not, they don't have to do it company-wide. It's just too inconvenient for them to have different sets of rules for each state.
Or they can't afford the money to do it.
They can afford it.
They can't afford it.
With that. They can't. What, Facebook can't afford it. Stop it.
You put companies out of business all the time. Remember the breast implants?
I remember breast implants. Yeah.
Okay. Well, remember what silicone used to be in breast implants.
Mm-hmm.
Now they found out that that was BS. A couple lawsuits put that industry down. That's all it takes. A couple class action lawsuits will take a company down.
And they're back to silicone. Did you know that?
I know. But look how many people went bankrupt because of it. We took out major corporations because of it. And what I'm saying is, my belief in this is that we shouldn't allow state courts to make these decisions. These decisions should be made by federal courts because it clearly affects interstate commerce.
But you're making a huge philosophical change to how the United States has always governed itself.
Not
You
always.
are now taking away states' rights and saying, hey, listen, it's just a mishmash of all of the states together in one homogenous type of person. It's not the same. People in Florida and Georgia are not the same as people in New York and California. They're not.
And how do we sue for that? We go in if these places are in different states. For example, if I want to sue somebody for doing something in Georgia, I go to the federal court.
Well, it depends on what it is.
Normally,
for this,
I have
yeah.
to go to federal court. Now, this case, the idea of a state setting
that's
up a
the whole
law based
idea.
on some
These
hokey
states-
dudes sitting in
The
one.
states aren't trying to dictate that Facebook can't do this at all. The states are saying you can't do it to our kids here in this state.
Now, you know what's cute? Notice who they're going after. Read the names.
I did. Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, and Messenger.
What's missing?
X.
TikTok.
X is also missing. Twitter.
Okay, but you know why TikTok's out of there? Because they can't go after them. You know why? Because they're out of China. So
what point are you trying to make? What
the
point do you
point I'm
think
trying
you're
to make
making?
is this: going after an American company instead of going after all of them just because you can, and knowing that all Facebook has to do.
They banned TikTok from being
how are
on
they
any
gonna ban
federal
'em?
phone.
How are they going to ban them?
They passed laws. Hey, you can't have TikTok on
Yeah.
your government-issued phones,
Yeah,
and they
and
can't have them anymore.
VPN. I'm out.
Just because somebody can figure a way around a
An
rule
easy way.
means that you shouldn't adopt a rule.
simple way. A moronically simple way.
I disagree.
You think it's-
the law is a teacher
It's a bad teacher.
to the citizens about what morality they should aspire to.
Morality we should aspire to.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't kill
Could
people.
you even look me in the face and say
Don't
that?
kill people. That's a law, right?
Where do you
Don't
live?
steal. Don't lie about people's reputations, right? These are all things that we should aspire to, right? Yes or no?
What? Don't lie to you? Mean the Ten Commandments?
Well, yeah.
You mean
Generally speaking, the Ten Commandments are
the Ten
good
Commandments,
morality. Yeah.
Judeo-Christian rules determine how I want to live my life.
I don't think those are Judeo-Christian. I
Sure,
think
they are.
those
The Ten
universal.
Commandments are not
Don't-
only
don't murder
Judeo. We're
people?
the first people.
Don't murder people. Yeah, I think that's
Judeo?
I think that's pretty universal.
Well, that was what?
Don't murder people.
Thou shalt not kill. Which
Don't
one was
steal
that one?
people's stuff.
Was that 2 or 3? I forgot. Don't use. It's funny how "don't use the Lord's name in vain" was 1.
Yeah,
That seemed
I don't know how
that
that
didn't
got
seem
in.
like a #1 chart topper for me. That should have been around 36. But
That
you
should
know,
definitely not be in the top 10. I agree.
what I'm saying is this:
Law's a teacher.
It is wearing me out. No, law is set up by
Law's a teacher.
federal law is different. I think federal law we take more serious because it affects more people.
Well, you're going to take it the ultimate serious by
I am.
having federal law just absolutely dictate over all the states.
Normally, federal law does trump state laws.
It does when they're directly conflicted, but
Okay.
the states are allowed to protect themselves. States are allowed to offer more protection. You know this from law school.
I agree with you.
States are allowed to offer more protection than the amount of protection the federal government
Unless
offers.
it normally
That's what they're
affects-
doing here.
Unless it affects interstate commerce.
It doesn't affect interstate
does.
commerce. They're
Sure
not
does.
saying that Facebook can't conduct business. They're saying you can't target children in this state.
How do we know
And
their children?
by the way,
how do we know their children?
all the other states
How do
should
we know
jump
their
on.
children?
What do you mean? How do we know?
How do we
their
know their
children?
children?
That's their point.
Oh,
That's
so
their point.
Facebook has to ID
are
people
getting
now.
on. Yeah. Yes.
Oh, we need IDs now to use Facebook.
Yes.
We don't even need IDs to vote anymore.
Do
And
we
you're telling
need
me I
ID?
go on
No, that's
Facebook,
not
I need
true.
an ID?
No, that's not true.
Certain
We do
states
need
you don't need them.
IDs. No, we do
Certain
need
states,
IDs.
you write them in?
We need IDs to vote.
No, we don't. We write them in now.
You
You
need
don't have
IDs
to
to
show
drive.
proof.
You need IDs to order
Oh, really?
alcohol, guns, and tobacco. I
How
know
do
you
you
need
send
that.
in a voter's registration? Do you put your ID on that? Nope.
Alcohol, tobacco, firearms.
Voting by phone. Voting by
You
mail.
can't vote by phone.
Voting by
You
mail.
cannot vote by phone.
Vote by mail, though. How do you vote by mail? Sign. Here's my vote.
Of course.
Where's my ID?
Because you've been identified but based on your address, presumably. That's the theory behind allowing people to
So
vote by mail.
Facebook now has to authenticate an ID every time somebody goes on.
Of course. How else would you know who's a minor?
What about eBay? We're going to do that now?
For the sale of
Buying
adult
stuff?
products? Yeah.
Well, any product.
No, adult products.
No,
You can't sell adult products to children.
The kids are being targeted for kids' products, not adult products. That's their argument.
Oh, yeah. So if you want to access it, you have to prove that you're an adult. I get what you're saying.
Okay.
Sure, if I'm going to go to eBay, I shouldn't be able to see things that are only allowed for adults until I prove I'm an adult. Sure,
So
I get it.
have to block out. I have
But
to
you can't
basically
go
block.
to Facebook until you prove you're an adult. That's the point of the law.
I'm sorry. I'm a firm believer in that.
And
Anytime we
quashing states' rights. That's what you're a firm believer in.
certain rights, yeah. that deal with morality and issues. I don't
Well,
like
then
them.
you have a national standard for morality.
Okay, I'm good with that.
I'm not good with that.
We already have it.
I'm not
We
good
already
with
have
that.
it.
There's more people in New York and California than in Florida, and they can dictate to us our morality. I don't think so.
I'm talking about our Constitution. I'm talking about the laws that are passed through Congress. Yes, we do it all the time. I'm okay with that. You know why I'm okay with it? Because I'm tired. I'm exhausted about having to deal with anybody else's politics. I'd rather have a bunch of jerks in Congress with at least 2 representatives for every state arguing rather than one state making decisions for all of us. And they make decisions for all of us.
You're making the opposite argument now.
No,
you're going
no,
back,
I'm not.
You're going back to states' rights.
If you bankrupt a company that I do business with in Florida and you bankrupt them in California, why do I have to deal with that? I don't like it. I think it's impossible to
So
do
you're
all
saying
this
that the other states shouldn't be able to protect their children?
No, I think we should have.
That's what you're
We have
saying.
national standards.
Hey, you have to allow whatever this company wants so that I can
I
continue
didn't
to
say
conduct
whatever the
my own
company
business.
wants. I said that I believe that if you're going to file, you
Well,
file under
Jeff,
a
let me
national
ask you this.
standard.
Can the state or federal government put any rules on Facebook?
A state,
Any rules?
a state.
Yeah, a
No.
state. Like, we don't want you putting hardcore pornography on this platform.
That's
in our
already
state.
covered in federal laws. Cover pornography and child porn.
Could a state do it?
No,
Why not?
because it's a company
What
that
if the
does
federal
international
government
business.
hadn't passed it? Because states like California define kids differently than everybody else in the country.
How would you feel about TikTok just giving porn to everybody?
I wouldn't like it.
They could. You can't stop them.
Of course I can.
How?
Ban them from doing business.
How are you banning them?
Well, this is how you would stop them. The platforms that offer the app to download, if they want to do business in the United States, they can't offer those apps.
So
and they have to identify the people who've downloaded them.
Okay. We are in full agreement that it's easy to bypass any of this stuff if we want to.
Sure.
Ridiculous.
And your argument is because it's easy to bypass the
Super
law,
easy.
we shouldn't pass the law.
Don't
Don't pass the law.
Not a state
And
law.
here's why, because it's so easy to get around it.
Not a state law. So that's just how I feel. I'm sorry that's the way it goes. I understand your belief in that every state should be able to sign their own community morality. The problem is our world has changed so much that it's not our city's morality. It's more of a national morality because we're all living on top of each other through the internet. And the internet is a bunch of computers that don't connect anywhere the same way. And technology beat us. The Terminators are coming. We're all going to die. I'll see you.
Spoken like the forefathers of communism.
All right, I can live with that.